Bob Hill, neighbor to Ed Gein, the original Leatherface, enters Ed's house in horror on the same day he was arrested. Ed covered his furniture with the skin of his victims, 1957. The detectives discovered chairs made with human skin, skulls turned into bowls, stuffed faces mounted on the walls, and a torso tailored into a wearable vest. A liquidator dons a lead apron as he prepares to clear radioactive debris from the roof of reactor number 4, Chernobyl, 1986. Most of them died or contracted horrible illnesses as a result of the radiation. A couple is photographed moments after learning that their 19-month-old child had been swept out to sea. By the time the photograph was taken, the mother had already seen her son's lifeless body in the surf. 1954. Carl Tanzler was so obsessed with his patient, Elena de Hoyos, that after her death at 22, he stole her corpse and lived with her for 7 years. In 1940, a relative discovered his secret. He was eventually caught after he was seen dancing with her corpse in front of an open window. The last image taken of British explorers George Mallory and Andrew Irvine, as they were about to leave Camp 4 on the morning of June 6, 1924, for their ill-fated attempt to summit Mount Everest. Mallory's body was found in 1999. Irvine's body has yet to be found. A patient with tuberous leprosy, now commonly called Hansen's disease, 1895. Leprosy is a bacterial infection, which can leave a person asymptomatic for as long as 20 years. Eventually, the infection begins to affect the skin, nerves, eyes, and respiratory tract. One of the last known photos of Floyd Collins, who died in 1925 after becoming trapped in Sand Cave, Kentucky. A loose rock pinned his ankle, leaving him buried up to his waist in debris. Despite rescue efforts, he perished before help could reach him. His body was later put on display in the cave but was stolen. The body was later recovered, having been found in a nearby field, but the injured left leg was missing. Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein fakes his tears during his infamous 1979 purge of the Ba'ath Party, in which 68 high-ranking members were publicly accused of treason and arrested on the spot. Saddam, who'd been de facto ruler of Iraq for years, replaced President al-Bakr in a coup 6 days earlier. Japanese soldiers taunt a pair of young Chinese prisoners shortly before they are executed. Sino-Japanese War. August 1938. A German woman who fell in love with a Polish POV is being publicly humiliated by being put into a medieval pillory as a dishonored woman. She was received by the Auschatzers with loud yells of disgust that went on for hours, her head also shaved. She survived the war and regime, living to be 91. In response to the anti-Japanese sentiment that followed the attack on Pearl Harbor, the Japanese American Citizens League opened the Anti-Axis Committee office on December 14, 1941. It was part of their campaign to demonstrate the loyalty of American-born Japanese citizens to the U.S. Many were sent to camps and their property was stolen while they were in these camps. Many, if not most, were never compensated and had to start over from scratch after the war. A black U.S. soldier reads a message left by the Viet Cong during the Vietnam War. Black U.S. soldiers, you are committing the same ignominious crimes in South Vietnam that the KKK is perpetrating against your families at home. 1970. In 1975, a Senate investigation revealed that the CIA had developed a silent, battery-powered gun that fired a dart containing shellfish toxin. The dart would almost painlessly penetrate its target, causing a fatal heart attack within minutes, all while leaving no trace behind. The heart attack gun was intended to assassinate world leaders without leaving a trace, although they insisted that it had never been used in the field. A dinner for French soldiers who were mutilated during World War I, Paris, 1925. The attempt to repair the damages and help these soldiers return to their lives is believed to what has sparked modern plastic and reconstructive surgery. France was pioneering in this specialty in helping disfigured war veterans. Indiana native and actress Carole Lombard helped sell $2 million worth of war bonds at a rally in Indianapolis. She would die the next day in a plane crash along with her mother and team. They were scheduled to return to Los Angeles by train, but Carole was eager to reach home faster and take a flight home. The flight crew lost control after failing to navigate over the mountains surrounding Las Vegas. The sad clown, Emmett Kelly in his performer's makeup, carrying a bucket of water in the aftermath of the Hartford Circus fire of July 6, 1944, in which at least 167 people were killed. The circus had used the highly flammable paraffin wax to make the tent waterproof. The tent collapsed in minutes, trapping countless people beneath the burning canvas. The tragedy is often called the day the clown cried due to this photo. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is attacked by States' Rights Party member Jimmy Robinson as Martin Luther King tries to register at the Hotel Albert in Selma, Alabama, that was formerly only for white people, on January 18, 1965. He declined to press charges, saying he had sympathy for Robinson. A woman hurries past graffiti in the area known as Sniper Alley during the siege of Sarajevo, Bosnian War, 1992. Damage to the Pirelli Tower in Milan after a Rockwell Commander 114 plane crashed into it, April 18, 2002. 3 people were killed, including the pilot. The pilot failed to select the correct fuel tank during takeoff, leading to the engine running out of fuel mid-flight, usually because of improper pre-flight checks and fuel imbalance. A U.S. sniper using his helmet as a decoy to find the enemy's position in Najaf, Iraq, August 2004. The sniper would expose it in a way that made it appear as though a soldier was visible, drawing enemy fire. This tactic enabled U.S. forces to pinpoint and neutralize enemy positions in the battlefield of Najaf. A South Vietnamese woman mourns over the body of her husband, found with 47 others in a mass grave near Hue, Vietnam, 1969. The body count continued to rise with the discovery of more graves after the Vietnam War. By then, the total number of bodies unearthed around the city had risen to more than 2,800. Roman Polanski visits the house on Cielo Drive, where his 8-month pregnant wife Sharon Tate was murdered by members of the Manson family, a cult led by Charles Manson. The attackers broke into her home in Los Angeles, where she was hosting friends, and brutally murdered her along with 4 others, 1969. Polanski was in Europe working on a film. In 2013, Harrison O'Keefe spent 60 hours 100 feet underwater in complete darkness after his boat capsized 20 miles off the coast of Nigeria and sank to the bottom of the ocean. He was discovered alive by divers who were sent to recover dead bodies. Out of the 12 crew members, he was the only survivor. A Soviet Mi-8 helicopter flying past one of the 2 Buddhas of Bamiyan, Afghanistan in 1980. The statues were later blown up and destroyed in March 2001 by the Taliban, under the personal orders of Mullah Muhammad Omar, to destroy all statues depicting humans in Afghanistan. A white teenager, Joseph Rakes, assaulting Ted Landsmark, a lawyer and civil rights activist during a protest against desegregation in Boston, 1976. Ted had already been knocked to the ground, losing his glasses and suffering a broken nose by the time the picture was taken. Joseph was convicted of assault with a deadly weapon and sentenced to 2 years in prison. Greenpeace action protesting at the dumping of nuclear waste in the Atlantic by the dump ship Rheinborg, June 1982. A law was passed in 1972 that made this activity illegal, which only applied to U.S. waters.